This video is going to be going over the April 28th assignment, which is our STAAR review day 8. This video and this assignment was going over volume and composite volume. All right, so let's start off with question number 1. Number 1 says, a cup shaped like a hemisphere has a radius of approximately 2 1/8 inches. Which of the following is the best estimate of the volume of the cup? So we're just trying to find volume of a hemisphere. If we remember, a hemisphere is a 3D shape of a half of a circle, right? Okay, so to find the volume of the hemisphere, we first need to find the volume of the whole sphere, okay? So it says the radius, so from the center to the side, saying that's approximately 2 1/8. Let's see what 2 1/8 is real quick as a decimal. 2 plus 1 divided by 2. Let me make this a little smaller. There we go. 2 plus 1/2. Enter. Let's get a decimal, so control enter. We get 2.5. Okay. Oh, sorry. We have 2 1/8. My bad. So let's go back up. Oh, want this. Go up. Enter, and we just want to change this 2 to an 8. Alright, let's just type it all back out. 2 plus control divide 1 over 8. Press control enter to get a decimal. We get 2.125, okay? So 2.125 inches. Alright, so there is our radius. Our volume formula for a sphere is V is equal to 4/3 times pi times the radius cubes. Okay, so we're finding the volume, so our radius is cubed for our formula. Okay, all right, so we have our radius of 2.125, so all we have to do is plug in 2.125 in for r. So we have 4/3 times pi times 2.125 to the power of 3. Okay, let's go plug this in our calculators. We have control divide 4 divided by 3 times pi times 2.125 to the power caret top 3. Enter. We get 40.19, or 40, and we'll round up to 2. Okay, 40.2. Now we have to remember, we just found the volume for a whole sphere. So the whole sphere, as P for sphere, okay, is equal to 40.2. Okay, so what we need to do to find the hemisphere is we need to take this number and divide it by 2. So we have 40.2 divided by 2. Okay, so 40.2 divided by 2. And we get 20.1. Okay, so the hemisphere is equal to 20.1, and we can see C is going to be our closest answer at 20. Okay, so that's the answer number 1. Let's skip down to question number 3. Number 3 says a cylinder and its dimensions are shown in the diagram. Which equation could be used to find V, the volume of the cylinder? So again, we just want to find just the volume of the cylinder, okay? Volume of the cylinder formula is V is equal to big B times H, okay? We're going to replace B with the area formula for the shape of the base. So our shape of the base is a circle, and the area formula, so B is equal to the area of a circle, and the area formula for a circle is pi radius squared, okay? So now we have V is equal to pi radius squared times the height. All right, so we need to know our R and our H. So let's write R, H, okay? So 5 goes from one side to the other side of the circle, so we only need half of it for our radius. So half of 5 is 2.5. So R is equal to 2.5. Okay, and then height is the height of the whole entire cylinder, and we can see that it doesn't give us our height, so we'll just put H. Okay, all right, plus it only wants us to find the equation, so let's just plug everything we have real quick into our equation. So we have V is equal to pi times 2.5 squared times, we don't know height, so we'll just leave it as H, times height. Okay, so there is our equation. All right, so let's go see our answer choices, and we're going to see which one matches what we just wrote, okay? So we can go ahead and get rid of, let's see, A is incorrect because A has 2.5 and H being squared, which is not true. It's just 2.5 being squared. B is incorrect because it has the wrong radius. It's saying the radius is 5, but we said our radius is 2.5. C could be correct. And then D looks like it's going to be incorrect as well because it says 5 is our radius again. So C is our answer for number 3. Okay, let's look at number 4. Number 4 says a paper drinking cup in the shape of a cone has a height of 10 centimeters and a diameter of 8 centimeters. Which of the following is closest to the volume in cubic centimeters? So we just want to find the volume of a cone. Okay, so let's write our volume formula real quick. So it's V is equal to 1/3 times the big B times height. Okay, I'm getting this formula for my formula chart. Okay, everything that I need for volume is on my formula chart. All right, so it doesn't give us a cone, so let's just draw a cone real quick. So here's our cone. It says we have a height. This is a height of 10. So we start at the bottom of the cone all the way up to the base. So this is 10. And it says the diameter from one side of the circle to the other side of the circle, it's saying that is 8 centimeters, okay? But we only want the radius, which is half of the diameter, right? So radius is only half, so we want from one side to the other, or one side to the center, so half of 8 is 4, okay? So we're going to ignore 8. 4 is our radius, okay? So we have R is equal to 4, and H is equal to 10, okay? So when we look at our formula, let's get rid of big B and replace it real quick. So the shape of our base is a circle. So just like the cylinder we just did, we're going to replace big B with the area formula for a circle, which is pi radius squared times height. We dropped down the height, okay? All right, so all we do is plug in our numbers into our equation where we have it. So R is equal to 4, so we'll write 4 right here, okay? And then H we said was 10, so we'll write 10 instead of H. So there's our formula. All we have to do now is plug it into the calculator. So we have control divide. We have 1/3 over times pi times our radius of 4 squared times our height of 10. Control enter to get a decimal, and we get 167.5, or 0.6 if we round up, and we can see which one is the closest, and the closest answer is going to be A for question number 4, okay? Or F, same thing, okay? All right, the next one we're going to look at is question number 7. All right, so question 7 says a cylinder and its dimensions are shown below. One equation for calculating the volume of the cylinder is V is equal to big B times H, where B represents the area of the base, okay? B represents the area of the base of a cylinder. Which expression can be used to find the value of B for the cylinder? So we are just worried about the area of the base of this cylinder, okay? So when we're talking about the base of a cylinder, the shape of the base of a cylinder is a circle, okay? That's the shape of the base. That's big B, is a circle, okay? The area formula for a circle is pi times radius squared, all right? So we just need to write an equation that best suits this cylinder, okay? So when we look at our area formula, we see that we need to know R. That's all we need to find. So let's see what R is equal to. R is equal to, from the center to the side, it is 12.1, okay? So we have 12.1, so all we have to do now is just plug 12.1 into our equation up here. So we have pi times 12.1 squared, and that's it, okay? So let's see which one matches that. And we see that answer choice A matches what we just wrote. So A is our correct answer for number 7. We're going to look at number 9 now. Number 9 says it wants us to find the volume of this composite figure, okay? If we see we have 2 of these rectangular prisms with the same dimensions, and then we have 1 rectangular prism in the middle, okay? So what we can do is we can find the volume of this rectangular prism right here. And since we have the same exact one over here, we'll just find the volume of this and multiply it by 2. And then we'll find this one and we'll add it to whatever we get here. Okay, so let's worry about this rectangular prism right here. Okay, so the volume formula for a rectangular prism is big B times H. Okay, now when we want the volume of a rectangular prism, we replace big B with the area of the base. Okay, so the shape of the base for a rectangular prism is a rectangle. So we have this rectangle down here. Okay, we see that this length right here is represented up here, which is 3. So this length down here is 3. We have this length is 4. Okay, so the area formula for a rectangle is length times width. That's what we're replacing big B with, and then we drop down the height. Okay, all right, so let's plug in numbers. So we have V is equal to the length looks like it's 4, the width is 3. So we have 4 times 3 times the height of 3. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 3 is equal to 36. So the volume of just one of these is 36, and we see we have 2 of these, so we're going to take this number, 36, multiply it by 2. So let's go in the calculator quick, just to be sure. 4 times 3 times 3 is equal to 36. So that's the volume of 1, but we need 2 of these 36, so we just say multiply it by 2. 36 times 2 is equal to 72. Okay, so this cube and this cube is equal to 72. All right, so now we need to find this smaller one. Let's draw it over here real quick. So we have this little rectangle or prism right here. Okay, all right, so it says this length right here is 2. This arrow right here is pointing at this height, so the height of this is 1, and the width of it, this arrow is pointing at this length right here, and it's saying it's 1 as well. Okay, so we have our dimensions. Our height is 1, our length is 2. So let me write these out. Our height is 1, our length is 2, and our width is 1. Okay, so the same formula, V is equal to length times width times height. Length times width times height. So we're doing 2 times 1 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 1 is 2, times 1 is also going to be 2. Okay, so the volume of this one is 2. So now all we do to our 72 is add 2, since it's all one figure, right? So at the end we get 74. Okay, so now let's look at our answer choices. We have 23, 36, 72, and 74. So A is our correct answer. Okay, we got to make sure we add up all these things, and that's what we did. All right, the last question we're going to look at is question number 10. All right, number 10 says it wants us to find the volume of this ice cream holder. Okay, so it's a composite figure because we have 2 shapes. We see that we have a cube on the outside, 6 by 6 by 6 is a cube. All right, and then we see this cone on the inside, which is a hole. Okay, so again, if we see a shape inside another shape, we're going to take the volume of one, take the volume of the second one, and then subtract the 2. Okay, so we'll do the cube first and minus the cone. Okay, that's what we're going to do at the end. All right, so let's start off with finding the cube. Remember, the cube is the same thing as a rectangular prism. We have big B times H. Okay, remember from the last one we said the area formula for a rectangle, and a rectangle's area formula can also be used for a square. Okay, it's length times width, and we're going to multiply everything by the height. Okay, so when we look at this cube, they're all the same number. We have 6 for our length, 6 for our width, and 6 for our height. So we have V is equal to 6 times 6 times 6. So for our cube, our volume for the cube is, I'm running decimals, 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. So volume is equal to 216 centimeters cubed. All right, so underneath cube, we'll put 216, okay, minus, now let's find the cone. Okay, we'll do cone in orange. We'll write cone in orange real quick. Okay, cone. So the cone formula is V is equal to 1/3 times big B times height. Okay, but we see the shape of our base, our big B for a cone, is a circle. That's a horrible circle. It's a circle. Okay, So we'll replace big B with the area formula for a circle, and we should remember it's pi radius squared. We've done it multiple times in this video, and we drop down the height. Okay, so here we need to know the radius and the height. Okay, so 4 is pointing at this line that goes from one side of the circle to the other. Okay, so we only need half of it. So half of 4 is 2. So 2 is equal to our radius. Okay, and we see that the cone's going from the top of our cube to the bottom of our cube. So the height is also going to be 6 as well. Okay, so our height is 6, 2. All right. So now we have volume is equal to 1/3 times pi times 2 squared times 6. Okay, let's go plug that in real quick. We have control divide 1/3 times pi times 2 squared times 6, which is our height. We'll press Control Enter to get a decimal. We get 25.13. Okay, so we'll write 25.13. Okay. All right. So what do we do now? We're going to take this number from our cube and this number from our cone, and we're going to subtract the two. Okay. So we have 216 minus, and we'll take this number up here and we'll subtract the 2. We'll press Enter. We get 190. We'll just say 8. 190.8. Okay. So when we subtract the 2, like we did set up here, when we subtract these two, we get 190.8. And now let's see if we can see that answer choice. And we see that answer choice C says 190.8, and it is bubbled correctly. All right. So C is our answer for number 10. And that's going to conclude our video on our April 28th assignment, the STAAR Review Day 8. All right. If you need to do the redo assignment, go ahead and complete that now.